More news surrounding the Fantastic Four movie that is going to be coming out in a few short weeks, okay? What is it, July 24th or something like that? It's the last of the big three to come out in July, and honestly, it's the one that I have the least amount of hope of being good, okay? I've already resigned to the fact that, Jurassic World Rebirth is not going to be a good movie. I hope beyond all hope that Superman is good, but it's probably going to be very, very, very James Gunny, something that I'm not exactly amenable to, but hey, I can hope beyond hope that it ends up being good. But Fantastic Four, especially with the MCU, even if we fired a bunch of our activist producers and we want to get away from pushing an ideological message. Well, I see what happens from the people that are not trying to push a message, and I see that they're far too competent to even be in these positions of making high budget movies. So forgive me if I don't think that you're trying to course correct, and even still, you have a Pedro Pascal with all of his political posturing, and what we're hearing coming out of this movie is not at all a course correction. It is not at all a reversal from everything that drove this franchise into the ground over the past few years. But let's take a look at some of the spin, because if you recall at the tail end of last week, oh my god, Disney and Marvel put them on sale for pre-orders of Fandango, and it's the best performing film of 2025. What's the competition? Shut up about the competition. But it sold more tickets than every other movie this year so far. Even if that is true, and they haven't said like how many tickets they've sold or anything like that, but what are the numbers that we're working with here? What's the next closest competition? Because we talked about this before, like all of the big movies so far this year, like your Minecraft, your Lilo and Stitch, those were all a late day of walk-up purchases. Okay, those were families getting everybody together, see how many people are going down to the theater, buying the tickets at the booth, not exactly hopping on Fandango months before the release of the film to go ahead and check things out beforehand. A little bit of a different audience here. You got your enthusiast class that still think that the MCU is peak and total fire. I mean, like after Thunderbolts, guys, we are totally back, right? Nobody remembers the Thunderbolts at all, but don't worry, guys. Fantastic Four, it's going to be the best thing since the last best thing. Trust me, because Fandango says that the Fantastic Four broke the ticket sales record as media parrots disputed claims of site crashes. Yeah, because it was just so popular that, Fandango site crashed. Cite your source as required, but Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four, the first steps, has reportedly set a new high watermark for 2025 advanced ticket sales on Fandango, topping the first day pre-sale numbers of all other titles released. Okay, according to the press release from the ticketing service, it outpaced the Minecraft movie, Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible, and Jurassic World Rebirth in early demand. Okay, so Jurassic World Rebirth is the only other big movie to go on sale in a similar time frame. But Superman, I think, goes on sale later this week, and I think that one's going to be interesting to see because that's a more direct comparison, and methinks based on certain projections, it could do better, but we'll see. Jeremy Hainline, executive vice president and Fandango, commented on the film's performance. Isn't this fantastic? Marvel's The First Step sold more tickets in the first day than any other film this year. Do you have your tickets yet? No, I'm good. While this marks, the highest first day performance of any 2025 title on Fandango, it's important to note that these numbers reflect only a portion of the total advanced sales market. Okay, Fandango represents one segment of the domestic ticketing landscape and does not account for global pre-orders or walk-up audiences. Yes, because that's a U.S. exclusive thing. I mean, if you're comparing apples to apples on Fandango, they're going out there and comparing it to other similar sales, that's totally fine. It's just trying to take it as a full and complete depiction of what's going on. That's when I get to call you a liar. Additionally, strong openings are not always indicative of box office success. Yeah, exactly. And so we will have to wait until we get closer to the release date, until we start to hear more about this film, until we start to see a lot more marketing in order to paint a more full picture. I thought I've heard something, but I couldn't find anything definitive on early projections for the film's opening weekend, but I think I heard that it's supposed to be somewhere a little bit south of Superman, but then again, all we have is very, very, very early projections on that, so can we really do much with that at this point? I don't think so. But thanks to a few new trailers that are out there and a few new early looks, some of which I won't bore you with. They touched up the look of the Silver Surfer, and, well, her eyes are still firmly in that uncanny valley. I guess her hair looks a little bit better, but it's still Julia Garner after all, and she's, to me, she's in that same category as Florence Pugh. I don't get it. Okay, just dumpy little mid chicks that look like your alternatives, okay? The other plates that you would be spinning in the background if your main prom date flaked on you. Like, I don't know why they're trying to make them a thing, but it's not working on the wider audience. And if they are going to be going through on the rumor that is out there for the Fantastic Four, how it's going to be female Silver Surfer and the de facto leader of the Fantastic Four alongside the cringe baby taking down Galactus, bro, if they... I cannot believe this, okay? For all of the spurgs that are out there saying, oh, it's not comic book accurate, oh my god, the female Silver Surfer's a deal breaker. If they waste Galactus on this throwaway fucking movie, that's going to be, there's a lot of what ifs. And no, I'm not just talking about the comic run or that really atrocious animated series, but there are a lot of villains that the MCU has just burnt through. But if they waste Galactus on one fucking movie and then have him done dirty in the way that has been rumored, the MCU is totally cooked. They're going to have one more chip to cash in the form of Avengers Doomsday, but after that, all bets are off. You go ahead and throw in your X-Men. Nobody's going to give a fuck by the time that rolls around. But yeah, Collider of all places, like chief shills, okay, for the MCU, did this big expose where they just, sucked the production team dry by saying the Fantastic Four first step, sneak peek, a sci-fi epic inspired by Kubrick. Oh, fuck off. Star Trek and even Raimi's Spider-Man. Oh my god, see, hey, those are things I remember. I remember that. Oh my god, it's going to be so good because I remember other things. I think I would agree that the MCU hasn't been the same since the epic conclusion of the Infinity Saga with Avengers Infinity War in 2018. Excuse me, the conclusion of the Infinity Saga with Infinity War. That's interesting. We're running it all the way back to there. But I thought Collider said that everything that came out in phases 4 and 5 was just amazing peak entertainment, that the Thunderbolts, it was the best thing to come out since the last thing to come out. It's interesting. And how else are you going to characterize Ironheart that's coming out in a couple weeks time? I'm sure you also have a glowing review of the new trailer that's out there for that. But Black Widow is dead. Oh my god! And Kevin Feige and company are more committed to Disney Plus exclusive TV releases. No. They want to go ahead and pare those back because the Marvel is all about quality instead of quantity, because the Thunderbolts, that was supposed to be the first in a long line of adherence to that new norm, right? Right. Anyways, 2025 is somewhat of an uptick. Oh, really? With less said about Captain America, Brave New World, the better, but the Thunderbolts subsequently named the new Avengers. How will that work out for you? Powered by an irresistibly charming, oh my fucking god, I didn't even know that was there, but okay. A lead performance by Florence Pugh. What was the name of her character? Huh? And outside of being depressed, give me one character trait. What else does she do in that movie? Snarky one-liners? Yeah, everybody does that. Okay, what makes her unique in that movie? Was pumping of fresh blood into a stale franchise. Yeah, and it's going to end up making less money than Brave New World. So, fresh blood into a rotted corpse. Oh, okay. The box office may not have responded accordingly, but it still saw the MCU return to a character-focused narratives with sharp balance of humor. Undercutting everything with jokes? Yeah, okay. Action and pathos, with Thunderbolts being all about a found family. It makes for the perfect launching pad for the introduction of Marvel's first family. The perfect launching pad for Marvel's first matriarchal family. Sue Storm is the true leader of the Fantastic Four, according to Marvel producer, as Vanessa Kirby mocks the classic Invisible Woman comic portrayal. This is why I think the Fantastic Four First Steps is going to be the worst performing July movie of the big three. A producer of the Fantastic Four has made a bold claim about the team's leadership, and it's not Reed Richards wearing the crown. According to the producer, Grant Curtis, the upcoming Marvel Studios reboot will position Sue Storm as the true center and leader of the iconic superhero team, leading a lot more credibility to those rumors that make me shiver inside. In a new interview with Collider, Curtis addressed Marvel's approach to the character this time around, suggesting a dramatic shift from previous iterations. If you go back through the comics, you realize that Sue Storm is arguably the leader of the Fantastic Four, because without Sue Storm, everything falls apart. Well, yeah, without any member of the Fantastic Four, they're no longer the Fantastic 4, right? Because then you'd only have 3. Are you fucking retarded? He further added that while the film's aesthetic may nod to past versions, oh guys, I love retrofuturism. It almost makes up for a lack of a character. It almost makes up for an incoherent plot because it looks like the 60s. I remember that from the comic books. God damn it, man. Just these key jangles need to stop. Can we just have somebody competent write a fucking script in Hollywood? No, we're just stuck with the slop. Fantastic. Let it all burn down. Just take all of those writers from Los Angeles, okay, on the south side and just fucking move them up through the Hollywood Hills. Get rid of all of these hacks. That'd be wonderful. It would be better for everyone involved. They'd have new and interesting things to burn down, and we might get better entertainment in about 5 years' time instead of just this recycled slop over and over and over and over again. We have the desire to date aesthetically, but in terms of character and treatment, who should be front and center? It's like, hey, let's all tell the best story possible. I'm fucking sure. Curtis did not directly bash either earlier Fantastic Four films such as the 2005 or 7 entries starred Jessica Alba, but Collider was quick to do it for them. Of course, the outlet framed these past portrayals as products of the more male-gazing era of filmmaking. Oh, fantastic stuff. Yay, it's so great that we get a fucking nearly 40-year-old post-wall Vanessa Kirby. Yeah. Oh, wow, a 37-year-old knocked up with Marvel's God. Wow, this is so fucking believable. But hey, it's retro-futuristic, and it's totally fine because they're superheroes. Yeah, I can't wait. This is going to be so awesome. I criticized the original versions of Sue Storm for lacking depth and position the new film as a corrective step towards stronger female representation, because that's done so well for the rest of your brand, right? As though that's, something the modern MCU lacks. Of course, Vanessa Kirby, who plays Sue Storm, First Steps, echoes similar sentiments. Speaking about the balance, portraying Sue as a mother, wife, sister, and a superhero, Kirby emphasized, avoiding stereotypical portrayals of femininity, framing those traditional elements in a negative light. Yeah, okay. The Invisible Woman. Yeah, keep talking like this and it's going to be an invisible audience. But it's the reality of embracing being pregnant and then carrying a baby throughout, without falling into the tropes and archetypes that we see, in film around it. Yeah, because, like a pregnancy, especially, like late-term pregnancy, that's just a walk in the park, It's just normally chicks who are out there, running marathons and, just taking on Galactus and equivalent threats. That's normal stuff, right? We need to go ahead and we need to bust away from those stereotypes. That's a daily choice. And even when it came to beginning costumes for this or for things, I was like, don't give me all the dolly skirts. Oh my. If you think that's what Sue Storm is when you come in, if that's your immediate take on the character, you're stupid. You're actually a stupid person if that's your big takeaway. Director Matt Shakman, yes, whose only previous work for Marvel has been working on WandaVision. That worked out so well. That was another fantastic depiction of motherhood. Yes, motherhood entails enslaving an entire town for some kids that you thought up. Described Sue Storm previously as an emotional and moral compass of the team. Someone who compliments Reed Richards not just romantically, but ideologically. Yeah, he's just going to be a big fucking cuck because this is what else we figured out from this. Pedro Pascal says that he loves being led by powerful women. Sue Storm takes the lead in Marvel's Fantastic Four. I want to fucking die when I read shit like this because, there is a distinct lack. As somebody who has been, I'll talk about it again because I think that it's expertly important at this point in time. As somebody who has been watching The Lord of the Rings and all of that, hell, even to a lesser extent, the Hobbit movies, okay? I think that that's also a pretty good example if we're being completely honest about that because you had stupid Fran Walsh or what was that, Philippa Boyens who came out and said, oh, you take a look at the cast of The Hobbit and you realize very quickly that it's a very blokey story. That's why we needed to put in a stupid love triangle and inventing, Tariel, fucking lady lass who could be totally removed from that story. Shout out to the M4 book addict and not have that movie affected negatively at all whatsoever. No, you can have a story about masculine heroism that ends up resonating with the entire fucking world because, the first Hobbit movie made over $1 billion. The less said about the rest of them, the better, because those movies are not good. I enjoy them, but they're not good, mostly because, there's some very good performances, there's some very good characters that are there, and there is a depiction of a man dealing with the grief of the loss of his wife. And he's the most complex, nuanced, and my favorite character from the Hobbit movies. Somebody who I can't wait to get to see destroyed on screen for the hunt for Gollum. Oh, it's going to be so great. I can't wait for that. But no, masculine excellence on multiple different forms, okay? With a flawed ruler in Theoden, or a man coming into his own, being spurred on by somebody else who fell and ultimately did get redemption, but had to pay the ultimate price for it in the form of Boromir. But no. You have you have peak masculinity in the form of Aragorn accepting the role as the King of Gondor, coming into his own over the course of Two Towers, and then finally with his culmination with the coronation of the king at the end of Return of the King. It's perfect. It is something that served as a worthy parallel plot point for the destruction of the ring, not even to speak of the masculine burden of performance that Frodo has to carry out throughout that entire trilogy. Those are perfect. And guess what? Those are beloved by everybody, because no, they weren't going out and saying, oh yeah, we need to tell this, guy story so everybody can go out there and, get their dick out and, just start beating the fuck out of everybody. No. They didn't need to do any kind of superficial shit like that. They didn't need to come out and say, oh, we got Arwen, we got Eowyn, so we can have the women like this story. No. Women, men, boys, girls, all love Lord of the Rings. Nobody likes this shit that Marvel's putting out anymore. Nobody can fucking remember it 10 minutes after they leave the theater. Oh, the Thunderbolts was great. What was so great about it? Captain Black Falcon, America Man. Oh, it was so wonderful. It was so important because black people can't see themselves represented as Captain America, even though Steve Rogers has fans of every different shade, creed, and color. No. We just need to go ahead and do all of this pandering bullshit that eventually fucking blows up at the box office. And when you try to course correct, you can't actually do it because you continue to hire incapable and idiotic hacks to staff your fucking halls. It is pathetic. This once great franchise that was launched off the back of a womanizer who went through a full and complete arc over the course of 15 plus years in the form of Tony Stark. You couldn't even come back. This is lost knowledge. What? Yeah, since 2008. You couldn't write. They don't even have the capacity. It's not even that they couldn't, because of my society and my today's day and age, and you can't tell that story today. No. They couldn't write Iron Man 2008 in 2025 because they're incapable of doing it, because of these untalented, ideologically driven idiots who are told to go ahead and check your personal politics at the door, but they're so incapable of writing a coherent story that it's beyond their comprehension. Marvel is fucked. Most of your favorite franchises are fucked, and this is what we're stuck with in entertainment moving forward for about the next 10 years. Get ready to enjoy it, whether you like it or not. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.